Hello and welcome to the Final Bell. It is great to have you with us for another week, a very, very exciting week. We are proudly presented by GMHBA, the official health insurance partner of the Geelong Cats. We are celebrating a qualifying final win. We are celebrating an AFLW win. Footy is good at the moment. Footy is very, very good. I have Meg McDonald with me, as I do every single week. Hello, Meg.
Hey, Lingy. How you doing?
I'm good.
You're
I'm
up
good.
and about?
Yeah, I am up and about. I was certainly up and about on Friday night.
Yeah, my goodness me.
A lot of just a wonderful qualifying final from a Cats perspective, of course, but even a bit of theatre of the footy. Now we're looking back in hindsight. 86,000 at the G. Yeah. And I reckon every one of those Geelong fans was in full voice around about before half time, let's say.
I'm sure we'll get to it. It was so good.
A lot of feeling, but a great win, which now sends the Cats into a preliminary final playing either the Adelaide Crows or Hawthorn, who will take part in the semi-final this week. We're gonna get to some questions later on. I want to talk some AFLW with you as well. We'll get to the health update, but let's dive straight into the game. An outstanding game of football by the Cats. Outstanding execution under genuine finals pressure against the reigning champs and a team that's beaten Geelong the last 3 times they've played each other, and we know what happened in last year's preliminary final. A high-quality team, high-end team with a great midfield, but it felt different right from the start of the game, the way Geelong were playing. Yeah,
the pressure was through the roof. And to oversimplify, you're looking at them going, you boys are on. Yeah. You're just on. That's on in terms of attention to detail, as you say, defensively. I'm sure we'll get to some highlights, including, to turn the ball over the way we did, the smothering efforts, the tackling pressure. I love danger in the middle to start with, just the ability to sort of have that sheer mass and desperation around the ball. But I was saying to Jakey yesterday, I was like, so should we just format the pod by going through every player and saying how good they are? And that'll do it. Because there wasn't a single player who didn't contribute in some way. No,
that's fair. Even Jai Clark got on and just laced out someone at the end.
Just the embodiment of selfless play. Yeah, he was fantastic.
No, you're right. And the fact that the combination of physicality and size and strength around the ball was complemented by some just elite outside run and burst and excitement. And, of course, Meg, knowing me, I'm going to go straight to the guy on the wing.
How good was he?
Ollie Dempsey, I've said it all year, you're with me on this. He brings joy to football in the way he plays, the look on his face, even just when he's around the club at all times. But to then deliver on a huge stage with the power running that he has, his outside dynamic ball use, but ending up with 3 goals as well. But just as likely to pop up right in the defensive goal square and helping out his defenders.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about the joy. I sometimes indulge myself and I go downstairs in the footy department, jump on the footy computers, and I watched every Geelong Cats goal from behind the goals because I just love seeing how other players react when we get it done. He is hilarious. Like, there's the ones where he's on the broadcast camera and he's up and about, and we love that. But just like his reaction when I think it might have been Stewie's goal, right? Stewie kicks a goal. Ollie's on the line and he's running to the bench for a rotation, and he's from the line to the 50, he's got the double fist out, he's pumping his chest, he's stoked. But you're right, I reckon there was a certain stage in the season where teams had, let's not say worked him out, but started to realise what he was doing. He'd kicked whatever it was, 15 from the goal square in the first 10 rounds or whatever. So it's not like teams at this point of the year don't know the threat that he poses. So then to still be able to do it on the big stage when you're looking and you've had 2 weeks in the lead up to work out how you're going to nullify the opposition threat, but there's certain strengths you just can't go with.
No, exactly right. It's clearly a high-end running ability, but it's super smart as well. The positions he ends up in, and then some ball use followed by it. And talk about goals from the goal square.
That was
timing of that soccer.
Just it was like the joy just ripped out of it as he ran. He sort of was, when he's pumping the chest, like he looked possessed with how stoked he was.
And the only thing that was unlucky in that whole thing was that it happened to be a whole bunch of Brisbane supporters that
I
were right there,
know.
because if they were Geelong supporters, they were going to get the biggest hugs of their life from Ollie.
I will say the bay next to the Brisbane cheer squad was the Geelong Cats staff bay. So we were in that pocket,
yes.
and it was...
Yes.
It was so... Because we're sort of in the pocket where you're looking at danger going like, oh, no, he's really shanked that. And Ollie was there to save the day.
Yes.
The skill.
This is a real left field pump up. To those 3 or 4 supporters, Brisbane Lions, who
Yeah,
were
they're
front row.
they're just respectful.
Superb.
Yeah.
Superb. That's
Yeah.
what I love about our great game and all of our fans is Ollie's in just the height of emotion and joy and celebrating. He was hands down, and that supporter,
chest was out.
a natural reaction could be to get up in the face of that player. Sat there, took their medicine, and super respect. Love it. Anyway, that's a little left field shout out to a couple of Brisbane Lions supporters.
Not to continue on with Ollie, but a long range set shot. Like there's all these goals were different kinds of goals, and that first one, which is the second goal of the game, I think, maybe just set him up for. You're on here. He's
on, yeah. Speaking of on too, obviously the forced change to the team that finished the year, Reece Stanley goes out with a hamstring worry, and hang on, ruck. What's it look like? Is it just pure Sam DeConey, and we're still going to play blitz forward? And at times Sam was in the ruck, but Mark Blitzar's game from the ruck as basically an extra midfielder was just, he wound the clock back. Not that he hasn't been in great form anyway, but this was back to true utility peak young man Mark Blitzar.
And just from a place of the purest competitor. Like he just looks possessed by the will and the want to win. And at a pivotal moment in the game, you come back in the third quarter, lost a couple at the end of the second. I think he kicks that first goal. I think it was a few minutes into the third. Into the third, he kicks that goal off. A lovely ground ball and drive out from Tom Atkins. He can do anything, and he is. There's one thing to accept it, and then there's another thing to excel at whatever you're asked to do by the team, and he was certainly that. But you're right, it wasn't what can he do in the ruck. I think the nervousness into the game was, everyone's saying we need him forward for the Andrews factor and all that. But we made it. Yeah, we made it work.
Yeah, we made it work. And I thought Shannon Neal stuck at the Harris-Andrews matchup so well all game. I was calling it for radio. And I said, right now, Andrews is just on top. Yep. Shannon's not quite getting the game, but he's sticking at it. It can break his way. And even before Shannon kicked that terrific goal on the run, Harris-Andrews, who I rate as high as anyone in the comp, was being forced to spoil.
I was going to say,
as opposed to Mark.
Yeah, it's so different, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there was once or twice where he looked at his teammates to say, "Could I have marked that? You got to tell me if I can mark that."
Yeah.
But that's the difference between the mid-season game and the one on the weekend, and that's all you really needed to do. Shannon, all he really needed to do was to neutralise that to a degree. And you're right, to get better at it throughout the course of the game, because he nudges Andrews under that goal that he eventually kicks. And if we do play them again in the next couple of weeks, then that's another learning.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there was a moment in the second quarter, not quite going to get there yet, because the second and third quarters were clearly where Geelong went up a level and started to break the game. And excluding those 2 goals, probably did break the game. Certainly in the third quarter it happened, but the second felt like it was breaking as well. 2 players I want to talk about who just their ability to get in and win the ball in a contest and then break into space and break the game open with their foot speed and everything they do. Sean Manor, Jack Bowes. That combination
we love them, don't we?
Yeah, so I know what the headliners are. Is Bailey Smith and Max Holmes in the middle, and they've certainly got that to their game. Yeah. But to be able to then throw Jack Bowes and Sean Manor through there in those second quarter and third quarters, I felt their impact on the game was massive.
No doubt. It was at it was quite neutral, the game, and it certainly arm wrestle in the second quarter, and then Sean Manor got his footwork going and broke it open. The dancing of his feet, the pop of his kick for the DK goal, I think, first. Then what did he set up the next one as well? Anyway, we'll go back and look.
There's so many moments.
And Jack Bowes got on. I mean, you're getting goals out of players you wouldn't bank on having said that, we do like Jack Rose for a goal a game. He does that pretty regularly. But the deftness of his touch as well, because he kicks the goal immediately after that. He goes around the body very deliberately, I would say, to Ollie Dempsey in the goal square. Sean Manners, on Max Holmes' goal, they were the difference, weren't they?
They were. And I thought Sean's third quarter in particular, now Max Holmes' quarter was pretty phenomenal and it looked special, but I thought Manor was the one who got him sparked again through the middle and that speed of footwork as you're talking about, just superb to be able to do that on a huge stage.
And just while we're on Jack Bowes, that the touch on his kick to when he pulled
Brad Close to Bailey Smith.
I was glad no one thought that was a pulled off your kick mistake. No, he meant that.
That was superb, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To have that vision and understanding and then pull it at the last second. Shout out to a couple of defenders, Tom Stewart and Jack Henry, 20 intercepts between them. Terrific. But
I did watch every single one of Stewie's possessions on the computers yesterday as well. He's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
But Jack is poor.
Zach Guthrie's job on Charlie Cameron.
Yeah.
Now, of course, let's quickly touch on it. Zach Guthrie had the moment.
He did.
With Cam Rayner. And I was calling it in the game and I've got to react to it live. I stated the first free kick was not there.
Yeah.
Now, I'm glad the AFL have come out and backed that up on Mark O'Connor. I did say that the Zach Guthrie one was there. It was soft, but it's still there. But, of course, the second free kick doesn't exist if the first free kick doesn't happen. Anyway.
To give you a sense of my confidence, I was in that pocket and I was like, go for it, Zach. I was that, like, we are playing so well. Stand up for him, doesn't matter. Obviously, we don't encourage it. But I was that pumped that I was just like, I was there for it.
So when was the blood boiling most for you? Was it after that combination or was it after Cam Rayner kicked the goal in the third and gave the little...
That 100% after the shush. Or the
sit
shush,
down.
What was it? The sit down. The sit down.
He was happy to play the villain,
wasn't he?
Cam Rayner. He was certainly... And he did have another moment in the third quarter, I reckon it was, when he broke a tackle, spun and snapped. And I thought,
burnt some teammates, they might say. It would have been unbelievable.
I thought, oh my goodness, hang on, Cam Rayner might be feeding off the electricity.
How about when Mark runs off, halfback runs off him, gets the ball and then sort of fumbles and Rayner gets him, but he gets a free. No, you're right, that was theatre. But do you know what, I mean, in terms of the free kicks, and we'll be respectful, it was the Tom Stewart one that got me the most in terms of like,
on Kyle Lohman.
The push. Yeah, the push. I was like, and if we rewind the tape, last week, who did I say I was worried about? Kyle Lohman. I imagine he's incredibly annoying to play on, and he kicked their first goal. He kicked a couple of goals. He'd been out of form. But I was like, can we not? Can we not bring him into the game?
Keep him in check, please. Keep him in check. We've certainly added. Now we can sit back in hindsight, sitting in a prelim final. We can just laugh and smile and love the theatre of it all.
Yeah, I liked a lot was made at the halftime of Scotty's addressing the group as a whole, but I do think there were 2 minutes that the boys navigated after those 2 free kicks.
Yeah.
To just
bring it down a level. Yeah. Because it's fair to say those working in the ABC Sport commentary box,
those ones,
we're not handling the next 2 minutes that well. The adrenaline and blood was pumping through.
Because Stewie went for that, like holding the ball, then it wasn't. Then they paid 2 different things. Oh, it was all happening.
I'm glad I wasn't out on the field at that stage, Meg. Let's put it that way. Hey, before we take a break, I want to talk about AFLW. Fantastic first win of the season. They won by 31 points. A terrific win by the team. I do want to ask you very respectfully. Obviously,
always.
A tough week for you personally, as being a captain and leader of the team, can I acknowledge and give you total credit? I've seen the vision of the jumper presentation. I've seen the way you've been around the group. Just an outstanding show of leadership from you, but obviously in what's been a pretty tough week.
Thanks, Lingy. Yeah, it was. I mean, it's never easy whenever you miss out on playing in the team. It was the first time I'd missed in a long time, and certainly first as captain. And it's funny, I've often reflected this year that some of your anxieties and your worries and your emotions circle right back to the start of your career when where am I placed in the team? How am I going? But you have that added people are still looking to you. And, I sort of felt that personally the love and respect of my teammates is I love that I have that from them. So you want to lead in that way. And you're right, at the end of the day, we had two, real stars of our future team, hopefully of our present, make their debut, and the girls got it done. So I think it's multifaceted. It's their opportunity to play their first AFLW game. What was so beautiful was how emotional I think they got when they were told and in the jumper presentation, because unlike me and some of my generation, they've grown up thinking this is what I want. I've had this long held dream for 10 years now, and now I get to play. So it was great to see that emotion. And then the other aspect of it that was awesome was, my fellow leaders and how they stood up in the context of the game, particularly when, Claudia missed late as well. She had she's got a bit going on with her foot. So for it to look quite different, to play a team that's 3-0 and we were 0-3, for the particularly the mids to stand up the way they did and bring the pressure. We've got down here Georgie Prasparkas' stats: 33 disposals, 2 goals.
Good game.
Jackie Parry stood up. Some of the VFL boys were in the sauna last night, and I was trying to explain to them how short our game is, therefore how crazy 33 disposals and 2 goals is. So they were unbelievable. Nina's pressure was great, and there was a lot of joy on a Sunday.
Fantastic response by the team. But can I also say and reiterate again,
get it back in there.
How definitely that.
Keep that in, Jackie.
But also how lucky they are to have such a selfless leader in yourself, and that attitude, because I know they would have fed off that and got the first win of the season, and now heading to play against Richmond at Icon Park, 1:05 p.m. this Sunday, hopefully making it back-to-back wins. And
we do play Icon well, so looking forward to it.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of there's no AFL men's this weekend, of course, with the weekend off, but we're calling all Cats fans to get to the game. Be there as the Geelong Cats AFLW team look for back-to-back wins at Icon Park this Sunday against the Tigers, as I just mentioned. Let's keep the good times rolling and get behind the girls. Tickets are on sale now. Also want to shout out Showing Your Colours. We spoke about this last week, didn't we,
Oh,
Meg?
we did. Well, we tried to, and then I fluffed my lines. But Show Your Colours presented by Dulux. Paint the town blue and white this September and submit your photos and or videos showing your colours via our finals hub. Have you seen any?
Have you?
Yeah. Okay.
There's a few. I've driven past a few houses. There's now scarves tied to letterboxes.
Oh, brilliant.
There's a few little posters starting to pop up.
There are Geelong Cats caps everywhere. I know that's not the Dulux, but you walk around and like everyone's wearing a bit of merch these days. And shout out to, oh my gosh, I saw it on Instagram. I think the Cats, I don't know if the Cats they've commented on it, reposted, but it was a woman who got caught, a runner, an influencer down here. I don't know if you've seen this. He has a running Instagram, and this woman starts speaking to him, and they end up speaking about her cancer journey, and she doesn't know he's filming. He asks if it's okay to share, and at the end of the video, after this story about her hardships in the recent years, she just goes, "And you watched the footy last night? Yeah, good with the boys." And that's what I love about being in Geelong, is you can just assume that this random that you've walked into on the path is going to be loving what the boys are doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
She was great.
So good. Well, get your Show Your Colours, get those photos and videos via our finals hub. Let's take a quick break. Want to get to some fan questions, and we'll try and do our little health update. I always say we're not necessarily the best people to listen to, but we'll do that after the break. Winning a three-peat isn't easy, but at GMHBA Health Insurance, that's exactly what we've done. By winning the 2024 CanStar Outstanding Value Hospital Cover in Victoria 3 years running.
GMHBA have been caring for the Geelong community since 1934 and are proud supporters of the mighty Geelong Cats. Join at gmhba.com.au.
Welcome back to The Final Bell, proudly presented by GMHBA, the official health insurance partner of the Geelong Cats. Speaking of health update, check out the club channels for that today. Obviously, you'll get Reece Stanley's update there, also Toby Conway as well. Reece is probably the big watch over the next couple of weeks as we head into prelim final, but we're not going to try and guess. We probably steer away from that a little bit. Check out the health update. Meg, we're going to get to some questions now. Maybe have a little look ahead to some of the semi-final games that are about to take place as well. But before we do that, I can't believe we've already gone one segment without talking about Oisin Mullen.
Oh.
The job he did on Hugh McCluggage, first of all, warmed my heart. Absolutely warmed my heart against an All-Australian who has had an unbelievable season, and Hugh McCluggage is a star of the game. But the goal.
I mean, again, it was a great pocket to be in on the weekend. And when he kicked that, it was lightning quick. And with all his near misses, and was he 7 behinds maybe? 7 behinds, for it to be a bit more instinctual and just quick hand to foot, Irish snap. We love it. And the best bit was Mark O'Connor standing next to him. I had a freeze frame. Producer Jake's doing an impression. I paused it on the TV when I was doing the rewatch, and his face was like it was contorted in a way I'd never seen before. He was just so happy. The best.
Oh, so good, so good. Gee, he did a good job on him. He did such a good job on McCluggage. And not just I'm not just talking about the limiting of McCluggage, but the fact that he still joins in the attacking side of it. He kicks that goal. There were different times where his ball use and decision-making was high end, under enormous pressure, traffic.
The one he sizzled along the boundary to Danger. Danger couldn't quite control it, and he gave him the big thumbs up because he was like, that kick was unreal. Yeah. And that's why it's been like, you have a great kick. Let's kick it through the big sticks.
Yeah.
So it was a relief. And I reckon he was on for the hands on the scratch goal as well. His speed's unbelievable.
Yeah, isn't it? Just power off the mark. Well done, Osh. Obviously, he'll have an important role to play. Preliminary
just
final
one
week.
more indulgence. Yes. I probably didn't know Scratch had the break 50 at top speed, sink it in him. Bang. That's great.
That was a good moment too. Yeah. Speaking of good moments, I want to go back to this is the first question, and it's going back to really early on in the game. How important was Tyson Stengel's smother in the context of the game? It turned into our first goal and set the tone for Geelong's pressure for the game. I think it turned into the Jeremy Cameron goal.
Well, that bit's in brackets as if I haven't watched it enough times to know exactly which smother we're talking about.
It just set the tone of... Because remember back here, I think it was round 15 we played them.
The weekend did a good job of making me forget it, but I still have a memory of it.
Yeah, yes. and it was, they picked us apart with their ball use, and it was inboard ball use, bang, fast, through the corridor, flying.
Zorko,
Yes.
Yeah.
And Tice's smother and some of the other pressure acts that we were doing was like, no, today you're going to find it a hell of a lot harder to have that sort of ball movement going again.
I know what you're going to do, and I'm not going to let you.
No.
Followed by the skill of the check side over the top to Jez. Like, that was smother, gather, skill. And I know of course you want to kick a bunch of goals yourself, but he had an important goal. Maybe we'll say one goal taken off him at a certain point of the game. But no, you're right. That pressure, and I'm interested. It looked on the ground like they were really compressing. Like, they got us over the back for the few goals early.
Yeah.
But that there was no space in that corridor for them to slice us up, because you and I have sat here throughout the podcast during the year and looked at Brisbane and GWS and been like, how are we going to stop that happening?
Some of that ball movement through the middle, if we're just, and we only need to be 2-3 metres off, and it can still be used and it can open up. But you're right, it didn't happen often on Friday night. Continuing on from Tice, he, as a small forward, sometimes you think, you've got to have kicked 3 or 4 and have lit up with his amazing snap and all of that. That smother, one. But the one where there's a quick kick out of the contest, and I think it's Darcy Wilmot. I could be wrong. Might be Darcy Gardner. He's going to mark the ball, and Tice comes up and creates a contest, and it's the crumb, the most amazing crumb you'll see, the ground ball get from Max Holmes at speed, taking it, and then the kick over the top. It's a Jack Martin goal.
Yes.
Now, the Holmes take and gather and run, and the Jack Martin goal does not exist if that's just a simple intercept mark for the Brisbane Lions. They're going back the other way.
Yeah.
I thought little moments like that from Tice was so important for his game and for the team's game.
Absolutely. Another one in that same vein, your fave, the number 45. He did a few of those sort of things too. You're not big men, but you have big moments.
Yeah.
Like just you're putting the pressure on. Just like speaking about Brad, like the block. I think it was for Jez's first set shot. Maybe he keeps Anderson out of it at the back.
Yep.
it's a little thing. Guys, we see them.
Yeah, we see them.
Guys,
we love them.
We see you. We love you.
We shout it out. This next question's from Max. Were Cats fans only so vocal because of the threat of the Lions, or has their game style changed this year, which has made the fans more excited?
Well, fan Max, you're a fan. You tell us. What do you reckon? What would your Max say? You can speak for all the Maxes.
My Max would say, I think it was a combination of everybody knew what that final meant. Yep. It was, and I've said it, I went on record, it was the pivotal final of the final series. So we knew what was on the line. The Brisbane Lions are the reigning champs.
Yeah.
They got us in the prelim. They are a very good team. Let's not shy away from that. So it was huge. But when Geelong break, now it is such speed on the outside and efficient attacking, and it's great football to watch.
Right, if they've broken from the stoppage and the crowd at the ground can see Ollie Dempsey in 50 metres of space, you're going to yell.
Yes, yep. So I think it's a combination of all the old Circle D on the exam, all of the above. Yeah. It's certainly that. So
and
Maxi,
it's a changing demographic. Like the crowd's young and engaged and are behaving in new and different ways too. It's awesome.
Yeah, and there is something quite intoxicating about Max Holmes and Bailey Smith and Ollie Dempsey and that speed.
I know I'm just going to keep going through individual highlights, but the gap that Max took for his goal when he sort of charges through, gives it to Sean, like he. Yeah, just, I don't know, it's something in that choice not to go laterally. He's just gone vroom, straight through this arm of pressure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Who can kick from 50 straight as a die, but running? Anyway, it's crazy. It's crazy.
We're with you, Maxie. We love that one. Freddie, best moment of each game from AFL and AFLW.
Gosh, my fans really coming out here. I'm going to be biased in AFLW because you're looking for moments that speak to things that have been focuses on the track. So I feel like it's a simple one, but Julie Crockett-Grills went to half forward this week, and she had I think it might have been a mark at the top of the 50, and just the patience and the patterns of Jackie Parry to get free, and in what were the worst conditions. Like the wind at Windy Hill was unbelievable.
Lived up to its name.
Yeah, that passage of play. And then, of course, Georgie kicks one after the siren just to seal her performance off. So one of those two for AFLW.
Fair enough. For AFL, I think we've already touched on it. The most beautiful moment of the game was the Ollie Dempsey goal. I just think for the state of the game, I know there were other almost more important and the way the game was breaking and all of that. But for sheer joy and happiness, for the supposed neutral commentator that I was on the night, there was a lot of miming from me. Let's put it that way. And I'm conscious now. Every commentary box
can see each other.
They can see each other, but they've also got their own cameras. So we're next to. So it goes Channel 7, Fox Footy. I think it's us. Then it's Triple M, then it's 3AW, or might be 3AW, then Triple M. They've all got their own cameras. So you're getting filmed from every angle because there's glass in between.
You got to do the Scotty move to the back.
Well, so so our callers are front row, we're second row, and then our techs are just behind us. But they're up high, so I can almost be under their desk if I want to be. I turn and hide under the desk as I'm fist pumping and I'm banging the wall.
That is so good.
All trying to be completely silent while I've got a microphone about 3 millimetres from my mouth.
I think Scotty agrees with your best moment. His reaction to the Dempsey goal was awesome. For me, it was probably scratch. I'm not going to say no to yours, but I love scratches as well because I think it signified a breaking of the winning, us, or your strength v our strength, and sort of coming over the top of that. And he's got to have hit top speed when he sunk it, laterally. It was so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Darcy's question, that's how we stop fast ball movement. That's a statement, Darcy, but we love it. This is your question. Who is our biggest threat now? Which leads us nicely into, let's look a little bit at semi-final and given the men's team have got a week off. Adelaide taking on the Hawks on Friday night at the Adelaide Oval. The winner of that will play against Geelong on a Friday night at the MCG. We're 99% certain. And, of course, the other game is the huge Q clash. Brisbane Lions at the Gabba against the Gold Coast Suns. What a win they had. The winner of that one will be against Collingwood. Likely to be Saturday at the MCG, and I believe it has to have a twilight option because it will be an interstate team, so they have to have the option of getting home to their own bed by Saturday night. How do you see, just quickly, the couple of semi-finals playing out? Have you got any early tips?
I'm certainly a victim of the momentum and of the first week of finals. I think I will surely the teams that won go on to win. I know there's a lot of stats on how that goes now that the bias part of it. I haven't gone back and watched the Hawks game. I was doing a different W game, but they look like a massive threat. They're really in form. My gut says we'll be playing Hawthorn.
Oh my, that'll make my gut ill. But
what if we do it?
Yeah, that would be nice. But you're right. The Hawks were good. Their first quarter, after the first 6 or 7 minutes, was just efficient, elite, high end. I spoke with Blake Hardwick on the following day. He said there was a strong wind going that way, and they made the most of it, kicking the 7 goals in the first quarter.
How good's Blake Hardwick?
Yeah,
I love
his
Blake
last
Hardwick.
quarter was huge. But obviously, to then respond to the Giants had all the momentum and were ripping them apart. The old orange tsunami was in full flight, and they had everything. To then just go, stop. Now it's going back our way. That was impressive by Hawthorn. So it'll be a big one. I do hesitate in falling in love with the winning elimination final team versus the losing qual. I'm probably going to go with the Crows in a tip if I'm forced to, but I do agree Hawthorn are super dangerous. The Q clash will be brilliant.
Won't it?
The battle for southeast Queensland and the reigning champs versus the young upstarts and all this sort of build-up. Rowell and Anderson were superb for the Gold Coast Suns. Lachie Neale's a big out for the Lions. We know that. He's such a great player.
And how young their forward line is, that's just...
Yeah, I think the Lions can bounce back though.
Yeah.
I lean more towards the losing qualifying final team.
Yeah.
Getting back on track. But I suppose what this season has done is if Hawthorn beat Brisbane in that last game of the year, they're second or third on the ladder, I think it would have ended up being. So it's not like they've finished 8th. And they're 4 games back in 8th. They were all basically 3rd as well.
Yeah.
So it's not as big a gap between the qualifying final teams and the elimination final teams. And same with Brisbane and the Gold Coast Suns. So it will be brilliant. Do I dare ask a preference for the Cats to play one over the other?
I don't want to play the team that loses. No, I don't know. I think for the theatre and for the game, it'd be unreal if it was Hawthorn. But I don't know how you'd go with that.
So it would...
We're going to Adelaide, so I'm safe.
You're safe.
I'm safe away from the MCG.
It could potentially be a Hawthorn-Geelong preliminary final, and then if the other one went the other way, followed by a Geelong-Collingwood grand final. It forces me to relive some
Guys,
memories.
Get your membership barcodes ready to go.
Yep.
Sign on, upgrade.
And I was going to say the prelim final, regardless of who we play, given the size of both those clubs, the Adelaide supporters, they travel in huge numbers. If it's the Crows, they will come across. It will be a packed house at the G. Jakey, we're 99.9% certain it'll be the Friday night game.
I feel like, we've beaten both teams during the home and away, right? We only played them once, both away. We had the home MCG. Obviously, with our win against Brisbane, that means it doesn't necessarily count for much, but I feel confident either way.
Good. So do I. Well, for the AFL men's, we get to take a little breath, just breathe deeply and watch a couple of games for the AFLW, as we said before. The Cats taking on the Tigers this Sunday at Icon Park at 1:05 p.m. So make sure you get your Cats fix and head along there and cheer the team on. Hopefully a big win against the Tigers would be very, very nice. keep the momentum going. Check all the health updates, in particular for Reece Stanley, and see how he's travelling along. We'll be back next week to build up towards a big preliminary final. The Cats taking on either Adelaide or Hawthorn at the MCG. Meg, great to see you. All the best for the week.
Thank you. Back at you.
We'll be back next week.